Before we get into today's topic, this video is sponsored by Bright Sellers, which I will be telling you guys all about very shortly. Whew, you guys, we have so much to go over from week 4 that I'm actually splitting this into 2 parts. I've had, a few days to absorb what went into this trial the past week and to give you guys my full thoughts and opinions. So as usual, I'm going to be highlighting things that I found worth mentioning from the first half of week 4, which was when Amber Heard's first expert witness took over. And then shortly after this video goes up, I promise I will have the second half up for you guys as well if you would like to hear my thoughts and opinions. And there's been some things that have come out even after the last day of the trial that I really want to talk about in my second part to this week as well. Now, I have to give you guys this disclaimer. I know there's a mouthful at the beginning, but I promise we're going to get into it. But I'm giving you guys this disclaimer because I have seen some people comment about, oh, this is old news, blah, blah, blah. Guys, I am very much pregnant. My videos aren't coming out as quickly as some other people's. And with that being said, let me tell you guys about today's sponsor. I am giving birth to my son in less than 2 weeks. One of life's cruel jokes is this entire pregnancy, I have been craving a drink to go with my dinner. I haven't been able to have one because I'm pregnant, but I'm almost done. And that is why I'm so excited about today's sponsor, which is Bright Sellers. Bright Sellers is a monthly wine subscription service where they deliver directly to your door. They made it incredibly convenient for me to have wine delivered directly to my door so that when I get back from the hospital, I'm able to finally have that glass of wine with my dinner that I have been so looking forward to. Bright Sellers' slogan is discover the wine you love, and they make that incredibly easy with their 7-question quiz that will help match you with wines that are perfect to your specific tastes. This includes hundreds of private label wines from all over the world, so you're able to try something that you've never had before. You'll get to pick from your favorite chocolates or how you like your tea in this quiz, and that helps them curate your box specific to your tastes. And not only does Bright Sellers ship directly to your door, but it comes with wine education cards that gives you the perfect pairings for your wine and if it should be served cold or warm. My matches this month were absolutely incredible, and when I'm not pregnant anymore, which as I'm filming this video is 10 days away, you guys, I'm particularly excited to try the rosé from Petal Press, the Cabernet from Vanishing Act, and the white blend from Color Fast. Bright Sellers is kind enough to give my viewers 50% off your first 6-bottle box. That's $55 for 6 bottles of wine, which is a crazy value. Sponsors like Bright Sellers make it possible for me to create content for you guys, so by supporting them, you're also directly supporting this channel. I'm gonna have it linked down below and also in my pinned comment if you guys would like to head over. It's a big steal, and we can toast to my birth together in 10 days, you guys. Are you with me or are you with me? Thank you so much to Bright Sellers for sponsoring this video. The beginning of this week started where it was still the plaintiff's side. So we were hearing from some of Johnny's witnesses, and then it went over to the defendant's side, which was Amber Heard and her witnesses. The way that they chose to begin her side was not exactly something I would say would have been my pick. Now, this is very important for me to note before I get into this. Like, I'm not a news reporter. I'm not an expert. Obviously, I am just like you guys, where I'm a regular person sitting here watching this trial. So my opinions and thoughts and stuff, they're forming just as yours are. I'm just filming my opinions and sharing them with you guys. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, and let me tell you, there's been some craziness going on this week, and I have a lot to say about it. But before I get into Amber Heard's first expert witness, which was a hot mess in itself, I want to talk about how they, at the beginning when it was still Johnny's side, they were still discussing how Amber Heard's op-ed that she had wrote was defamatory to Johnny Depp and his career. They actually showed how he lost about $40+ million since the op-ed came out.
What does the figure at the bottom corner of the chart, the $40,318,000 $40,318,237, what does that represent?
Well, that's your grand total. That's the sum of those two components for total lost earnings of $40.3 million.
No further questions, Sean.
All right. Now, there was some back and forth where, Amber Heard's team got up there and they were like, well, he had a really bad year before this op-ed came out, but apparently it was because Johnny Depp took some vacations.
But the op-ed wasn't written until December 18th, 2018, correct?
Yes.
So if 2017 was clean, then the first 352 days of 2018 were also clean, weren't they, sir?
If I may explain, Mr. Wiggum testified that for the first half of 2018, Mr. Depp chose to take some vacation time. Also, he chose to go touring in the summer with his band, and then he did a film towards the end of 2018. With the publication of the op-ed in December of 2018, that would have impacted the prospects for that film that was done in 2018. So he chose to do just the one film in 2018. And then the impact of the op-ed on that film would have meant that it was not a clean period. You could not have looked at that film to get a good sense of what his earnings should have been, because he didn't have the chance to earn box office bonuses.
But I think the most important thing is to show that since her op-ed came out, things have been different for him. When you've been watching Johnny Depp movies for a very long time, you can see that since her allegations came out in the op-ed and everything, it has been different. It's something that isn't even arguable at this point. I've also been hearing that he could very well lose his actual case because, you know, if they find that he was guilty of any type of abuse, even if it was verbal, he could lose this. But also I've seen people say that that isn't the only reason why he is doing this to begin with. He very well knows that he could lose for what he's suing her for, but it seems like he more so wants the public to see what we're currently seeing. Now, they ended up turning it over to the defendant's side, and I did hear after the fact that apparently it's very normal for the defendant's team of lawyers to get up there and to try and get the case dismissed, and that it's not actually that bizarre at all. But when I was watching it and Amber's team got up there and started giving their whole speech about how they think that Johnny Depp's testimony should be stricken, I was like, they cannot possibly dismiss this case before we ever heard Amber's testimony. And originally I was thinking, oh my God, Amber doesn't want to testify, which I still don't think she did, to be honest. I think that if they got this case dismissed, I think she would have been happy as can be. Now, some people could say she didn't want to get up there and testify at all because she wouldn't want to relive the things that Johnny allegedly did to her. You can look at it from that angle, or you could look at it from the angle of if you're not being honest about what you're saying, you probably wouldn't want to get up there and testify things that you're having to remember that weren't really true. So either way you look at it, I don't believe she wanted to testify. But anyway, Amber Heard's first expert witness took over. When you are trying really hard to just be like, okay, I'm gonna listen to everything that they have to say, I'm really gonna absorb it, I wanted to really give them a chance to convince me that what has been alleged has happened. With this first expert witness that they had take the stand, it was immediately so difficult to do. Amber Heard's first expert witness was Dr. Hughes. Dr. Hughes was a clinical psychologist that saw Amber Heard for 30 hours. Well, she saw her in person and also did some Zoom calls with her, but for a total of 30 hours, she had spoken to Amber Heard. When she was up there, it was just such a stark difference in her professionalism compared to Dr. Curry, who was a witness for Johnny Depp's side that spoke in such a professional manner, was very easy to listen to. She didn't come from a biased point of view. She was very articulate. However, Dr. Hughes got up there and it was a mess. She was incredibly unprofessional. She would roll her eyes. She would do these movements and motions that just showed she was annoyed or didn't want to be there.
So I administered.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
She can refresh her recollection.
As long as she's not reading it.
Right, you just can't read. That you're not supposed to read from it, but you can refresh your recollection as you're speaking.
So I can look and just look up, and that's refreshing my recollection? Okay.
All right, if we could approach for a moment.
Was strange because she's the expert witness. She's supposed to be a professional. The way she was behaving was not that of a professional, which was strange because she claimed that she had been in cases like this before. She has testified before in the court of law. You would think that she knew not to behave that way, to say the least. My biggest problem with her was that she didn't say things based on opinion. She said a lot of things based on fact, when the things that she was told were just things that she was told. Not things that she saw and not things that she witnessed, but things she was told by word of mouth from the defendant, Amber Heard. And I've just personally never seen anything like this before, where a professional is getting up there with such a bias to something that they don't know actually happened or not. One of the things about Dr. Hughes was that she kept reading off paper. You're supposed to get up there, you're supposed to answer the questions, not read the answers off of a piece of paper. And I also noticed that whenever they would be up there talking to the judge about something, that she'd be looking down and reading her notes when she had any time to do so. And it felt as if she was collecting information that was written down in front of her to then regurgitate whenever she was asked a question about it. It felt very rehearsed. Also, she referred to the notes as a cheat sheet. If I can find this clip, I will include it, but there's this one part where one of the legal team, I can't remember if it was Amber's or Johnny's legal team, had to look down at their notes for something, and Dr. Hughes was like, I can't look at my cheat sheet, something like that. And I'm like, why are you calling it a cheat sheet? It seemed very odd to me that she would refer to reading papers as cheating. It makes you wonder what was on her papers that she had, that she kept reading from the entire time. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is probably really helpful. They're probably told to do this. But Amber Heard, you know, was writing the entire time that Johnny and his witnesses were up there. So it did feel like preparation, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, to be prepared. Like, I'm sure in any trial you want to be prepared for it. But it makes you wonder if there were some things in Dr. Hughes' notes that Amber had been writing down. I don't know. There's a lot of note passing going on. Johnny's side, he's over there drawing pictures and eating candy, and Amber's side, they're passed in post-it notes. Also, if you guys didn't see my video that I talked about where she hired a new PR team, the guy that she hired was actually in court after she hired him, and her legal team, Amber's legal team, was seen giving them notes and things like that. I've heard that that's not like that big of a deal. This is the way the media works. When Johnny's up there, you're gonna see a lot of stuff in the media that is in favor of him. When Amber's up there, you're gonna see a lot of stuff that's in favor of her. And since she's been up there, the media has been saying things that are more in favor of Amber, and she did hire a new PR guy who was gonna go and send out, you know, whatever on these notes that were being passed to him from her legal team and be like, this is what we need the headlines to be today, or, you know, put this in there. You know, he could be doing things like that. In my video that I did about her hiring a new PR team, I was like, there's gonna start being things pop up that are more in favor of Amber, and it's literally happening like that, which I guess anybody could have predicted. Dr. Hughes would say that she needed to refer to her notes for things that you would think she would remember as a professional, but she didn't have to refer to her notes when she started giving all of these incredibly detailed descriptions of what Amber Heard told her that Johnny Depp allegedly did. I'm not gonna get into the things that she said that Johnny Depp did in this video because Amber Heard just goes on to say the same things, and I'm gonna be talking a lot more about that when it was coming from Amber Heard's mouth with what she said, so it will be in my next video about this. But she was the first one to get up there and to tell these allegations against Johnny Depp from Amber, and it was very strange. It was really weird to me that Amber's first witness got up there with all of this passion and bias towards Amber, and not just bias towards Amber, but bias towards, like, she kept using she and her pronouns, so she was just excluding in the way she was speaking that things like this would happen to men and women. She did say they can happen to men and women, but as she was talking about them, she just kept saying she and her, which I think was incredibly unprofessional considering there's evidence to show that the man has experienced a DV.
And every time you referred to the characteristic of a victim of intimate partner violence yesterday, you used the pronouns she or her, didn't you?
I was using the she and her pronouns in this case because my determination was, as I stated, that Ms. Heard was the victim of intimate partner violence. That is why I was using the she, her pronouns.
You, in fact, said women gets into the relationship for all the right reasons. That's what you said. Woman gets into the relationship for all the right reasons. And then you say difficult for victim to extricate herself. You go on to say that she can and she should. Over and over you use she, right?
I believe in this case I did because I was referencing this case where I found Ms. Heard to be the victim of intimate partner violence.
But nonetheless, she was getting up there using she, her pronouns. She had all of this passion and bias towards Amber after only meeting with her for 30 hours. It felt out of place. She started giving these detailed allegations that Amber had told her about Johnny as if they were fact. And she was presenting it so detailed and graphically, and it was confusing because it was like you learned all of this within 30 hours and remembered it word for word, but you don't remember other things pertaining to your professional career. You're having to look down, read off paper for those. And it doesn't help that Dr. Hughes has worked with Amber Heard's lawyers before.
How'd you get hired to do this work?
I was contacted by the legal team.
Or were you interviewed by her legal team as to whether you were going to testify here?
I was not.
You were not interviewed.
I was not.
You were contacted.
Correct.
Had you worked with that legal team before?
I had.
Yeah. So they already knew who you were, right?
Correct.
Right. And at any time that you were working with Miss Heard or assessing Miss Heard, she could have chose to fire you, correct?
I suppose her legal team could have chose to fire her. I was not her. She is not my client. The legal team is the one who hires me. I am responsible to the legal team, not Ms. Heard.
And the legal team that hired you already knew who you were because you worked together previously.
And clearly they knew of my expertise in this area of intimate partner violence and traumatic stress, which is why they contacted me to work on this matter.
Things that continued to show her bias was she used the term, which I've literally never heard of this before in my life, but she used the term low-level violence to describe Amber Heard committing DV against Johnny Depp. Like, the way that she was describing it was as if the things that she did to Johnny Depp weren't as bad. Either it was in self-defense or in retaliation from what he was doing. She completely downplayed it, but it was just like she was building a story before Amber even got up there, and I've just never seen anything like it before. It was really bizarre. And then she was discrediting Dr. Curry entirely, which I've talked about in a previous video. If you guys want to see my playlist about this trial, I'll have it linked down below. But she discredited Dr. Curry and everything that she said she believed in her expert opinion. She believed that she had borderline histrionic personality disorder just based on her meeting with Amber. She also determined that she grossly exaggerated in her words, having PTSD. Dr. Hughes got up there and was completely discrediting everything that Dr. Curry said and said that Amber Heard did have PTSD and gave all of her reasons for why she believes that she has that. It has been brought up on numerous occasions that if Amber Heard doesn't remember something correctly or if there's spots in her memory that it's due to PTSD. I'm curious if they're really wanting it to seem like she has PTSD from this situation with Johnny Depp so that if anything gets told wrong or if she's asked a question that she doesn't really remember correctly, that they could potentially blame it on PTSD. But I do think it's very important to take note of the fact that we have two different doctors with two different professional opinions about Amber Heard. It's a continuous game of he said, she said. It's once you feel like you learned one thing, you have somebody popping up trying to discredit that thing, and nothing is simple in this. There's always something else that pops up. Things just feel a little calculated at times. And saying a little calculated and being nice, like things feel very calculated at times, and it doesn't feel natural, and it feels like things are like there's a little bit of a game that's being played. And as I said, Dr. Hughes told in graphic detail things that Amber Heard told her that Johnny allegedly did. As I said, it was very bizarre for her first witness to be saying all of these things with such detail and to be so passionate about it before Amber's even had any time to speak. And I feel as though their motive to that was probably, let's come out with a big bang. Let's come out with the really big allegations to get people talking and to try and get this flipped back into Amber's favor. And we have seen how with some people that is exactly what's happening. I was watching this other video where somebody had caught that there was a reporter from Court TV that was sitting right next to Amber Heard's PR team. So, I mean, It's so strange as like a normal everyday person like me who's just watching this, see certain things unfold, like to see how when it comes to like PR, news reporters, or like people who write up articles on the internet, how it's like a game. It's not really about what's right or wrong, what really happened, what didn't really happen. It's about playing a game and shocking people, and where the most money is coming from, who's getting paid to do this, who's getting paid to do that. My next video, we're going to be talking about the second half of week 4, which is when Amber took the stand. I have a lot of things to say, and there has been a lot of things that have come out. Now, the week that this video is going up, board is out of session for this entirety of the week, and they're going to be coming back on Monday the 16th. My son is going to be born that week unless he decides to come sooner. Again, my videos on it are going to be super late. I don't even know if you guys will care about it anymore, but I know I'm going to have things that I want to say. Definitely stay subscribed. I'm still going to be talking about it whenever I come back. And if you guys would like to check out my playlist where I've been going over the entire trial, I will have that link down below as well. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you would like to. And also remember to check out Bright Cellars, which I'll have linked down below for you guys, and get you 6 bottles of wine for $55. You can't go to the liquor store right now and get 6 bottles of good wine for $55. That's a good deal. Sponsor or not, even if I wasn't being sponsored by them, that's crazy. Go get you guys some wine, all right? I'm gonna have that link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll be seeing you guys for part 2 of week 4.